And it's breaking news that leads your bulletin. The ANC says it is studying the Constitutional Court ruling, which has now given the party just 5 days to hand over all the minutes of its cadre deployment committee meetings to the Democratic Alliance. The party responded in a tweet saying it will adhere to the ruling. The ANC had approached the court, hoping to appeal the rulings of both the High Court in Johannesburg and the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein. Those courts had previously found in favour of the DA. The opposition party had argued that decisions and deployments of this committee laid the foundation for state capture. It also argued that South Africans have a right to know how the deployment committee affected appointments in government. All right, for more on this breaking news story, let's bring in Newzroom Afrika's contributing politics editor, Vuyo Mvoko, who joins us in studio. Vuyo, it's great to see you. And one cannot it's not an understatement, you can't overstate, that's what I'm trying to say, just how much of a major story, a major development this really is.
It is indeed a major development, because this issue has been with us for many years now. You'll recall the ANC president currently, in his capacity as deputy president in previous years, was the chairperson of the ANC's deployment committee. And when he appeared before the State Capture Commission, he tried to, defend this position, although, I mean, he didn't refer to it as cadre deployment. He spoke of strategic positioning of certain individuals in key positions within the state. Of course, Judge Raymond Zondo ruled, I mean, in his report, he came out criticizing the cadre deployment and saying that it is in fact unconstitutional. So the DA latched on that, and in fact for the past 3 years they have made this one of their campaign points. It's something that they've taken to Parliament. There's a bill that they've proposed, and not only do they want the ANC to reveal the contents of its emails, its documents and everything, but they also have made another application which actually is asking the courts to declare cadre deployment unconstitutional. So big victory for them.
Big victory for the DA. Is it a bombshell for the ANC?
I wouldn't say that at this point. Why? Because it depends on whether those documents actually do exist. We don't know that.
But
and
why would the ANC approach the court if those documents don't exist?
This is a thing. Or can you really force them, or how will you force them to actually reveal what they have? That's one hurdle. The second hurdle is that in the event documents do surface, will they tell us anything that we don't know about cadre deployment, how the ANC went about doing it, who was involved, who in terms of people who were deployed, and what did they do in their respective capacities wherever they were deployed. So there's a lot that would still have to be unearthed before we see this as the victory that many people, the DA in particular, hope that this would help the country.
Yeah. I just wonder why the ANC would go through the trouble of going to the High Court in Johannesburg, going to the Supreme Court of Appeal, taking it to the Constitutional Court, if there wasn't something that they didn't want South Africans to see.
But then the ANC has a tendency, at times to want to defend a position, even though, or a stance that they would have taken, even though there may be nothing really dangerous or subversive, from what may be
it's like
revealed.
A principled position.
It's a principled, because the argument, or the central argument over the years has been that political parties around the world, when they take power, they put their own cadres, because these are people who understand their policies, know them well, who may have been involved in their crafting of those, and they have argued consistently as well that it has never been at the expense, of the populace. In other words, these are people who were deserving. They just happened to have been members of the ANC. Of course, I mean, there are several instances you can point to when you look at how your state-owned enterprises, your government departments have been mismanaged. They have been looted and plundered by people who would have gotten the nod. Whose appointments would have been made possible by that cadre deployment policy.
Right.
So if you follow that argument logically, the DA actually has a case. And it would be interesting, of course, if the documents that would now be, whatever documents would be revealed, do actually show us the pattern. In other words, what is actually wrong with cadre deployment, in spite of the ANC's argument that there's nothing inherently wrong with cadre deployment per se.
So it's got 5 days, so this Friday, to hand over those documents, of the minutes of those cadre deployment committee meetings. Do you think, Vuyo, I'm not sure how to ask this question, but do you think that there's a possibility that these documents might well either be very thin in how much is available there or could be destroyed?
Those possibilities do exist. That you may not have, actually the documents may not reveal what the DA and anyone interested in this may want revealed. There exists a possibility that some may be hidden or destroyed, even. Those possibilities do exist. But the interesting thing with situations like this, as it was the case, in fact, with, watching the state capture inquiry very closely, sometimes it's little things, like a sentence or an utterance or a little WhatsApp message that can actually help reveal a lot of things. So there is value in looking at and scrutinizing whatever may be made available. You don't know what you may, stumble upon. You don't know what may just be revealed by a simple message. Yeah. So there is value. There is value in this exercise.
I mean, it brings us to the issue of deprofessionalization of the public service, right? And this issue of rewarding loyalty versus appointing those who actually have the capability to do the job. That's a conversation we've also been having for a very long time.
In fact, that's what's at the center of opposition around cadre deployment, and that's exactly what Judge Raymond Zondo says in his report, that the law is clear about this, and no amount of arguments on the part of the ANC, which is what the current president, argued when he appeared before the commission. Gweda Mandasa, the chairperson of the ANC, also argued, the same. But as far as lawyers and as far as the Chief Justice is concerned, it's just wrong, and it is unconstitutional. Period. Yeah. And that's what needs to be confronted here.